Committee. This meeting is now called to order. For those around the table, please turn on your microphone when speaking. For those participating via Zoom, please state your name when making a comment or asking a question. We will now begin the meeting with the roll call of all members.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'll go down the list of members and please unmute and indicate if you are present. Chair Banger.
Present.
Thank you. Jeffrey Barton. Ben Bitter.
Here.
Thank you. Scott Butler.
Present.
Thank you. Greg Caton.
Here.
Thank you. Andrew Ching.
Here.
Thank you. Ron Corbin.
Here.
Thank you. Henry Darwin.
Here.
Thank you. Crystal Dykes.
Present.
Thank you. Bruce Gardner.
Here.
Thank you. Rachel Goodwin. Rosa Anchowski.
Present.
Thank you. Suzanne Jones. Jeff Kulaga.
Present.
Thank you. Leo Liu.
Here.
Thank you. Vice Chair Reyes.
Here.
Thank you. Jessica Meffer Miller.
Present.
Thank you. Brian Myers.
Present. Jennifer Jack on behalf of Brian Myers, present.
Thank you very much. Grady Miller.
Here.
Thank you. Gary Neese. Kevin Phelps.
Here.
Thank you. Calvin Pilcher.
Here.
Thank you. Chris Reams as proxy for Jen Pekorski.
Here.
Thank you. Ryan Peters as proxy for John Pombier. Bryant Powell. Paul Louisi as proxy for Wynette Reed.
Present.
Thank you. Doug Sandstrom.
Here.
Thank you. Troy Smith. Brian Stutzman. Jennifer Toth.
Present.
Thank you. Catherine Valenzuela.
Here.
Thank you. Bruce Walls.
Here.
Thank you. Matthew Williams. And Andrea Davis as proxy for Bob Wingenroth.
Here.
Thank you. Is there anyone that I missed? Mr. Chair, we have quorum.
Thank you. Now please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, and with liberty and justice for all. Okay, before we get started on today's agenda, I've got a couple of announcements and individuals I'd like to acknowledge, starting with Bob Wingenroth, who will be leaving the City of Surprise effective November 30th of 2025. And we welcome Andrea Davis, who is in attendance today for the meeting on his behalf, and who has been appointed to follow Bob as Surprise's next city manager. Congratulations, Andrea. Today is also Jeff Barton's last meeting as he retires from the city of Phoenix next week. I don't think Jeff could make it with us today, but we wish Jeff the best of luck in all his future endeavors. Also would like to announce, we just learned this week that Town Manager Gary Neese has announced his retirement after 24 years at Carefree, which will be effective early in March. We'll have an opportunity to wish him well before he heads off to the next phase of his life and journey. Also want to recognize John Bolin as our Executive Director. We look forward to working with you, John, during this interim period and all the great things to come. And then lastly, acknowledge that this will be my last meeting as chairman of the MAG Council. I will be stepping down because I will become the new city manager in Glendale, Arizona in January of next year. So Vice Chair Reyes is stepping up, and it seems to be a pattern where I have to follow behind Kevin Phelps and clean up all his messes. So first is chair, next is manager. So I don't know where you're going next. Just let me know, Kevin, so I can prepare in advance.
Just for the record, I had to tell Patrick that when he gets to Glendale, we have water pumps for our water system. We don't rely on a tower for our water. So he'll have to learn that technology.
That's fair. All right. And we'll go ahead and move to item number 3, call to the audience. I'm not aware of any requests to speak today. So if there's no one present who would like to do so, we're going to go ahead and move on to item 4. And these are informational items. Items 4A through 4F are for information only. Does any member of the committee have any questions or request a presentation on any of these items? Okay, hearing none. Next is agenda item number 5, approval of the consent agenda. Items 5A through 5H are on the consent agenda. Notation item 5I, the draft MAG policy principles has been requested to be removed from the management committee consent agenda and will not be included in the items proposed for consideration. Does any member of the committee have questions or request a presentation of any of these items? Okay, hearing none. Prior to the approval of the consent agenda, there is an opportunity for members of the public to comment on any item on the consent agenda. I am not aware that we have any requests to speak on that. Staff, have we received any online written comments?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We've received no written online comments.
Okay, thank you. Okay, is there a motion to approve consent items 5A through 5H?
So moved.
Chair, or Member Bitter?
Second.
Thank you, Member Ching. All those in favor, sign aye.
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 All those opposed, sign aye. And nay. And I forgot the part about turning on the camera. Staff, do we have any members of the online participants who?
All cameras are on now and the motion
Okay,
passes.
thank you. All right, motion passes. Moving on to agenda item 6. It's second project deferral for the City of Buckeyes Miller Road Fiber Optic Backbone Project. This item is on the agenda for action and will be presented by Patrick Stone, Deputy Transportation Director.
Mr. Chair, members of the Management Committee, we requested to defer this item to next meeting. Staff from the City of Buckeye will present it. Unfortunately, they're not here today.
Thank you, John. Moving on to item 7, second project deferral and project scope modification request for the City of Scottsdale's Flashing Yellow Arrow Pilot Project. This item is on the agenda for action and will be presented by Mr. Stone.
Thank you, Chair Banger, members of the Management Committee. Pleasure to be here to present this item. Just a moment, I'll introduce the staff from the City of Scottsdale who actually present the deferral request. Before we get started, I always kind of like to do the policy reset for why we're having this conversation today. And our regional programming guidelines approved by Regional Council earlier this year in March identify that if member agency asks for a deferral, they must appear through all the committee process and explain the reason for the deferral and what steps the member agency has taken to mitigate the request for the deferral. This one's a little interesting. This is actually a 2-part request. So we do have a second project deferral from the City of Scottsdale. In addition, they do ask for a scope modification request. And so I wanted to kind of also give a little information on project modifications. And again, in the regional programming guidelines, it does identify if a modification request is such that it would necessitate a TIP amendment, the member agency must present that request through the committee process. So the City of Scottsdale has done that. This was originally heard at the ITS committee in October. It then moved on to Transportation Review Committee in October. And the city is now before you today to request both the second project deferral and scope modification request. And with that, I'll turn it over to John with the City of Scottsdale. Thank you. You can just click here.
Yeah, thank you, Patrick. Nice to meet y'all. Hope y'all are having a great day today. Oh, we went a little far. There we go. I'm John Savage. I'm the ITS manager with the City of Scottsdale. And like Patrick mentioned, we are here to request approval for both a project scope modification and a second deferral request. Just some background on this project. This project was originally awarded as part of the 2021 ITS call for projects and was originally scoped to see flashing yellow arrow improvements at 49 intersections along Scottsdale Road and Frank Lloyd Wright Boulevard, and was awarded just under $830,000 to see those improvements made. We've run into some challenges in the execution of this project. Some of the intersections that we have identified for flashing yellow arrow treatment in this original scope have already received a flashing yellow arrow treatment. Those are shown by the black circle with the yellow outline on the map. In addition to intersections that are already operating with a flashing yellow arrow, some of the intersections are operating in a protected only phasing due to geometric concerns. For example, a dual left turn. Those types of intersections are not compatible with flashing yellow arrow time of day phasing. Those are shown with the black circle with the green outline on the map. In addition to those intersections, many of the intersections that were identified as part of this project will require additional modification beyond just signal heads and wiring. They're going to be slated for new mast arms in order to properly align those turn arrows with the left turn lane. Those mast arms in some situations require new poles, and those poles in some situations require new foundations, and that all drives up the cost of a single modification at a given intersection approach. That brings us to our scope modification request. We are requesting to reduce the scope to 14 intersections. In the selection of those intersections, what we tried to do is balance cost effectiveness and impact. We identified intersections that would require limited modification, in addition to identifying intersections that had considerable safety implications, and tried to choose the best selection among what we could. We believe this continues to meet the intent of the program. Flashing yellow arrow still reduces delay, it still increases safety, it still reduces emissions, which are the goals of this program. For the second project deferral, we are requesting to defer to FY27. We are anticipating 12 months to complete this project, 6 months for construction and 6 months for procurement. We've already begun coordination with ADOT, the local public agency section, to initiate the project and to help us administer that. And just as a note, we are maintaining the initial awarded funding. We're not requesting any additional funds. We're reducing the scope of the project in order to fit within the awarded funding. Project timelines, the project was originally awarded in January of 2022. If this will get me to the next. There we go. First deferral was in August of 2024. We requested our second deferral to you today, but that would go through in December of this year. And we're looking at 2027 for that procurement and installation. And with that, I will take any questions that the committee has.
Thank you. Any members have questions or comments?
Mr. Chair,
Yeah.
I would just say my colleague said it very well, and we would appreciate the committee's consideration.
Good. Thank you, Greg. Any other questions or comments on this issue? Okay, prior to voting, there's an opportunity for members of the public to comment. Not aware of any requests to speak on this agenda item. Staff, have we received any online written comments?
We have not received any online comments.
All right, thank you. Is there a motion to recommend approval of the second deferral request and scope modification request for the City of Scottsdale's flashing yellow arrow pilot project, inclusion of the associated amendments to the draft fiscal year 2026-2030 MAG Transportation Improvement Program, Regional Strategic Transportation Infrastructure Investment Plan, and Momentum 2050 Regional Transportation Plan update? We have a motion. How many different plans?
I wanted to restate it.
I don't want to make sure we didn't miss any. Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I second.
Second by Rosa. All those in favor, sign aye.
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 Opposed, sign nay. Staff, once again, I forgot to remind our online participants to turn on their cameras. Do we have any members turn on their cameras and vote?
They've got it. All cameras are on and the motion passes, sir.
Thank you, staff.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to item number 8, fiscal year 2026-2030 Transportation Improvement Program. This item is on the agenda for action and will be presented by Wendy Miller, Transportation Program Manager. Thank you, Wendy.
Thank you, Chair Banger, members of the Management Committee. I'm pleased to present the fiscal year 26 through 2030 Transportation Improvement Program. Just to give a highlight of MAG's role within the region, we are federally designated as a metropolitan planning organization and for long-range transportation planning. The two core areas of responsibility are transportation planning, which is the long-term vision, and the transportation programming, which is the financial management and the implementation. The Regional Transportation Plan is a long-range vision. This goes through 2050 and is the vision for the entirety of the MAG planning area. It's required by federal law. It must be updated every 4 years and must maintain fiscal constraint. The Regional Strategic Transportation Infrastructure Investment Plan is the financial management tool. It guides transportation investments through 2045, and it served as the basis of the extension of the half-cent sales tax, Prop 479. It includes all funding sources available to the region. The TIP serves as a companion document to the Regional Transportation Plan. It provides the detailed listing of near-term regionally significant projects, and it serves as the first 4 years of the RTP. It's also required by federal law, must be updated every 4 years, and also must demonstrate fiscal constraint. So the Regional Transportation Plan is the long-term vision. The RSTIP is the financial management tool, and then the TIP is the implementation of those projects in the first 4 years. The projects in the TIP also must conform with air quality requirements, and included in the document is detailed information about the programming process, the decision-making for the projects and how they're funded, with an emphasis on public participation. It outlines performance targets and other technical data. The TIP typically, it's required to be updated every 4 years, but MAG typically updates it or does a 5-year document with updates every 2 years. In the recent TIP, the last couple of iterations, we've deterred from that a little bit, and just to provide a little brief explanation, the 22 through 25 TIP was done for an abbreviated 4 years to align with the end of the previous RTP. And then 3 years later, last year, we came before you with the 25 through 30 TIP, which was an extended period of time of 6 years to include all of the projects in phase 1 of the RSTIP. And then now we're back to the traditional 5-year TIP with updates planned every other year. This slide demonstrates the relationship. It does a good job of visualizing the relationship between the Regional Transportation Plan and the TIP. The RTP covers everything, and the TIP is the first 4 years of that plan, and it incorporates the funding through the RSTIP with the life cycle programs and competitive programs, and also includes projects that are state, locally, and privately funded. When broken out, the program funding sources are funded federally, regionally, state, local, and private. This slide demonstrates the breakout there. And when you add up all of the investments in the TIP, the projects equal about $10.8 billion, which really demonstrates our commitment to financial, or our financial commitment to transportation in the region. Broken out programming by mode, it shows that 80% of the projects in the TIP are funded for roadway projects and about 20% are funded for transit. This TIP update also went in conjunction with the update of the Regional Transportation Plan update. So they had a shared public comment period that started September 9th, the 30 days, went through October 10th. And we provided multiple invitations for members of the public to participate and provide feedback. We provided information on the TIP website, had social media blasts. We sent out about 3,000 emails to members of the public, stakeholders, etc., and also provided updates at the technical committees. And no public comments were received during this period. So next steps, today we're here at Management Committee asking for recommended approval. We will present at Transportation Policy next week and on to Regional Council on December 3rd for final approval. If approved, the final TIP will be forwarded on to ADOT for review and inclusion in the statewide TIP, and then on to ADOT ADOT would then forward it on to the Federal Highway Administration and Federal Transit Administration for final approval. Oops. And once it's approved, the typical process is you'll notice that project changes occur. How does that work? Well, every month we go through with project changes to the TIP. You see those on your consent agenda about every month. And then throughout that 2-year cycle, we'll continue to update the TIP, and then we'll culminate that at the end of the 2-year cycle and present a new TIP. So With that, Chair Banger, members of the Management Committee, that concludes my presentation. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Wendy. Do any members have questions or comments?
Mr. Chair, if I could just add in too, we want to take the opportunity to present this item and walk through it, what it is, what it represents. We focus a lot in this region on our life cycle programs, on the call for projects, but as an MPO, the tip and the plan are really core to our business activity. And so just want to really underscore the importance of this document. You see tip amendments pretty much every committee cycle on your agenda. And fortunately, we have this process down to a bit of an art, but this is really instrumental for you and your agencies to be able to implement projects and really key for the region to work with our federal partners.
Thank you, John. All right. Any questions for Wendy or comments? Okay. Prior to voting, there is an opportunity for members of the public to comment. Do we have any members of the public present that would wish to make a comment on this issue? Okay. Staff, do we have any online submitted comments?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We've received no online submitted comments.
Okay. Thank you. Is there a motion to recommend approval of the draft fiscal year 2026-2030 MAG Transportation Improvement Program and errata sheet changes contingent on a finding of conformity?
So moved.
And we have a motion by Madrano. Second by Butler. We'll have those participating in the meeting online take part in the voice vote by turning on their cameras and unmuting their audio. Members, please leave your cameras on until after the roll call vote. Can I have a voice vote of those in the room and those online? Those in favor sign aye.
Aye.
And opposed? Okay, motion passes.
Thank you.
Moving on to item 9, Consumer Fireworks Education and Awareness Campaign Update. This item is on the agenda for information and discussion and will be presented by Matt Poppin, Environmental Planning Director, and Lori King, Communications Director.
Thank you, Chairman and members of the Management Committee. Before I hand over to Lori to really go through the campaign, I wanted to kind of give folks a reminder of why this has risen to be an important issue in our region and kind of go through some of the air quality data that's driving this campaign. So back on January 1st, 2025, we discovered that we had the worst air quality in the nation when it comes to PM 2.5 concentrations. This is a map of all of the PM 2.5 monitors that operated by state and local agencies throughout the country. Green and yellow dots indicate monitoring sites that are meeting the PM 2.5 standard, the daily standard, which is 35 micrograms. And then any color orange and above indicates an exceedance of that standard. And on January 1st, the West Phoenix monitor had the worst concentration at 258 micrograms. This is nearly 30 times the annual standard. So it's a huge value. Additionally, what EPA does is they also have this, in addition to the raw concentration, they provide an index to tell you how that concentration relates to your public health. And this is the worst category possible. This is hazardous. So what EPA is stating by putting this concentration in that category is that at this level, EPA expects that everyone would experience health effects. So if you were outside at midnight on January 1st, it's likely you experience some health effects from this level of concentration, not just the vulnerable population. A lot of time our ozone concentrations, when we talk about exceedances of our ozone standard, they're just barely over the standard, and it really only affects those with existing conditions or maybe the children and elderly. But in this case, this would affect everyone's air quality and possibly health effects. EPA also operates monitors worldwide, mainly at embassies and at consulates across the world. And when we looked at PM 2.5 values at those stations, we found we had the third worst air quality in the world on January 1st as well. So it just gives you a scope of the problem that occurred. You can see it was not just isolated to that West Phoenix monitor. We also have monitors in South Phoenix, around the Durango Complex curve, and then a monitor out in Mesa as well. also experienced very high values with very high air quality indexes as well. So how do we know it's consumer fireworks that's causing the issue? So there's a couple of data that we look at that really points to consumer fireworks being the issue. This graph I'm showing you is each panel represents a day. So we're looking at Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and the day after Christmas. First here, I'm going to put on here the standard line. This is 35 micrograms per cubic meter, which is the standard, the daily standard. And now I'm going to show you the hourly values that occurred on Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and the day after. So you see that bump around 8 p.m. to 4 a.m. on Christmas Eve. That's when everybody's getting together, having their holidays together, mainly firing up their fireplaces and outdoor fire pits. So we exceeded on this day as well, but the primary cause of exceedance on this day is residential wood burning. Now, when you look at New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, and the day after, you'll see a different pattern emerge. A massive spike in PM2.5 concentration beginning around 8 p.m., 10 p.m. as everybody's going outside and lighting the consumer fireworks they bought at Costco or at any retail stand that's available. And so that difference is the additional impact from consumer fireworks. It is a massive amount. You can see some of the hourly values are like 1,000 micrograms per cubic meter. That's like a gram. So, I mean, you can almost see that, like you can visually see that amount in a cubic liter of air. So it really is a staggering amount of PM2.5. And then the last thing that we know that fireworks is the issue is at our monitor, we can do a chemical analysis of that PM2.5. There's a filter in those monitors that we send off to a lab, and they can tell us what's being collected on those filters. And fireworks include a lot of metals. When they're combusted, that gives you the fun colors, right? And so you can see the percent increase from Christmas Day versus New Year's Day, massive order of magnitudes increases. And the last thing I would point out is that some of these metals and compounds are not only just generally unhealthy, they're also toxic. Things like chromium and chlorine are known carcinogens that can contribute to cancer as well. So it's not just the regular air quality impacts from PM2.5. Now we're also dealing with toxic effects as well. So it's a very serious issue. So I'll hand it over to Lori to talk about our campaign.
Thank you, Matt. Mr. Chair, members of the Management Committee, as Matt has just gone through, he gave this presentation January 22nd, 2025 to Regional Council, and it created quite a stir. And so much so that we were given the directive to develop a strategy, including a public awareness campaign to address the dangers and effects of consumer fireworks. And so we've been working on this. We have been receiving feedback from our member agencies, and we have been rolling this out over the last month. And I would like to tell you about that strategy. It's threefold. It's pretty simple. We are, number one, going to elicit emotion. 2, inspire change. And 3, enable sharing. So to elicit emotion, we really took directive what happened at Regional Council on the 22nd of January. We saw a couple things. We saw shock. We had the 3rd worst air quality in the world was the shock. And we had concern that air quality has direct effect on my health and the health of people that I care about. Then we need to inspire change. I mean, fireworks are really fun. They're really beautiful. People really enjoy them. They bring people together and they get to blow things up. I mean, what's more fun than that, right? No. But they also emit chemicals and particulates in the air. We need to tell people about this. We have to inspire that change, that when you do that, you are poisoning the air. And then 3rd, we need to make this easily shareable. We have to be able to empower your agencies to make this shareable and then shareable by the people who were shared it with. So to elicit emotion, we went and got a lot of feedback from our member agencies who told us that they would like choices on how to elicit this emotion. And so we have come up with 3 ways that you could elicit this emotion. Number 1, the whoa. 2, the oh. And 3 is a lighter touch of the uh-oh. And so how are we going to make people stop and go, whoa? So today I present to you, fireworks are breathtaking. Secondly, also impactful, but maybe just a little bit of a lighter touch, a little bit more instructive. Warning, sound the alarm about other dangers of personal fireworks. And then 3 is a more comprehensive approach, and one we did with, in collaboration with Maricopa County. And this campaign was created by Maricopa County and really encapsulates not just the dangers of fireworks on air quality, but also the effects on pets and people with noise sensitivity. And so then, once we have your attention, we need to inspire change, inspire personal change and personal choices. And so on every piece of collateral that we've developed, there will be information. There is information. For example, consumer fireworks explode with pollutants that can damage the lungs. Please stop or reduce use. And then learn more at azmag.gov/fireworks. This website is live and available, and it contains all of the things that Matt just talked about today. All of the information, the data, and the story that was told about what happened on January 1st of 2025. And then from there, we need to make this shareable. We want to provide facts and data, talking points, print materials, digital ads, social media, all of the things that can help people share this information. And so on that same website at azmag.gov/fireworks, we have a social media and communications toolkits that everybody can download, anybody can download and share on their social media, newsletters, blog posts. There's even a script for podcasts or radio ads, a comprehensive package to be able to share this. And so our next steps are, we have been collaborating with our member agency communication staff to develop these materials, get them out the door and get ready for this season of sharing. And so we have created all of those images and social media posts and whatnot and be able to be downloaded. We met with your communication staff, let them know where this is. Also offered our services if there needs to be any support with altering images or creating any additional things that are needed to be able to share this. We are here to help. And with that, fireworks are breathtaking. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt and Lori. Any members have any questions or comments? Yeah, Jim.
Yeah, that's good looking. It looks like fruit roll-ups, but that's not the question. Here, just a question here. Why limited or just specifically consumer fireworks? Why not just fireworks?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Kulaga, Mr. Chairman. So consumer fireworks, the real issue is they're emitted at ground level, right? And so whereas the commercial fireworks are emitted high up into the air above that inversion layer. And so what happens, it's kind of a perfect storm in winter. You know, we have that inversion layer where warm air above traps cold air at about a level of 20 to 30 feet. And so when you emit those consumer fireworks, that just stays. It's like a blanket. It doesn't rise higher than 20 feet off the ground. You know, when you look at the lights in your neighborhood during, and you can just see the fog of consumer fireworks, that's what's being breathed in. And so while commercial fireworks can be an issue, they generally are not anywhere near as significant as the consumer. It's really the consumers who are doing it in your front yard, and that's being trapped at ground level that people are breathing.
Mr. Chair, there may be another category. Your science projects, do-it-yourself fireworks that may be more comparable to consumer rather than commercial. I understand the ground level point, but there you go. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Matt. Are there any more questions?
Mr. Chair, you have a question online from Leo Lu.
Okay, Leo?
All right, thank you, Chairman. I'm just wondering, because, and forgive my ignorance, but like there's terms like dangerously unhealthy and these numbers that we look like worse than India in some places. But I think probably most people don't know what that means. We can breathe this in, it can damage our lungs, but like what are we talking about specifically? Because I think people are probably thinking, okay, that's probably unhealthy, but I only do it once or twice a year and I'm only breathing it in for, like an hour. And so I'm probably fine. What does that actually mean? Like what is happening? Increases our risk of cancer, this type of cancer by X%, or I'm just kind of curious, damages our lungs like this amount, and is it irreparable? So just looking for specifics on those general terms if they exist.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think, yeah, we are reliant heavily on EPA's categorizations of the public health effects of this. And that's why I kind of walked through that air quality index. And we can provide a little bit more detail associated with what those index levels are. I want to be careful. I am certainly not a physician and I am not a doctor and certainly don't claim to be. But it seems like these levels are in that hazardous level. And while it is only one day a year, it is still something we would encourage people to avoid being exposed to. What the long-term effects are and all of those things, I think we can look into that more and maybe provide some additional resources. But we really are focused on those categorizations that EPA puts out. EPA is the one who has the epidemiologists on staff that have come up with those levels to let you know. Again, hazardous is associated with the general population. So this is higher than what you see like at those wildfire events that people have gone through, higher than what was exposed in the LA fires. So the level of exposure is really high, even though it is only one day a year, it is very high.
Okay, thank you, Matt. Thank you, Leo. Any more questions?
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you for the presentation. My question is, in terms of inspiring change, and I think your focus is on the consumer who would purchase and use these fireworks, to what extent could this or should this campaign also be aimed at the legislature and those who have preempted and limited severely the ability for local government to regulate the use of consumer fireworks, which seems to be a pretty important step in all this?
Mr. Chair, members of the management committee, that particular component was actually one of the discussions at the regional council meeting when we worked through that. Certainly the local control and the preemption is a big challenge. We don't hesitate, and I saw Samantha get up and she can speak more to the legislature, sharing this information with them, sharing the challenges with them. Really why we defaulted back to this public information campaign is our success through the legislature is uncertain. And really there's a dependency on what that body will do, what they can do. And so we were directed by the regional council to provide these materials to control the one aspect we do have control over, which is information, education, but certainly we do face challenges at the legislature, but I'll let Sam speak to that.
Thanks, John. And yeah, to John's point and to your question, the legislature does have the preemption for local control. And so last year, we did get approval from the Regional Council Executive Committee to sign and oppose to the one bill that we saw come through the legislature related to expanding the use of consumer fireworks. And so it is something that we do track and monitor based on the direction of Regional Council, given our policy principles that falls into the categories of our core focus at MAG. And so we will continue to do that this year. But to John's point, the education and are what we focused on thus far.
Yeah, and Mr. Chair, Mr. Ching, certainly this information provides a compelling story and will help tell that story to the legislatures. I think when you put the information together, third worst air quality in the world, that's a very poignant statement to be made. And so certainly we'll look for those opportunities in alignment with the direction we've been provided from Regional Council. But we'll have to sort of keep working with the legislature, keep telling the story, but these materials in themselves certainly do help with that story.
Thank you. I appreciate the answer, and that it appears that the work and the thought that went into making the campaign, and thank you for that, would be something that hopefully in the future would be adaptable for different audiences, including the critical audience of lawmakers. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, John. Any other questions? Okay, very nice work, Matt and Lori. Thank you. Moving on to item number 10, Executive Director's Report.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Next slide, please. We were pleased to join Valley Metro at the end of October to celebrate the winners of the Clean Air Campaign Award Luncheon on October 29th. Wanted to recognize 2 MAG member agencies that received awards. We had the City of Glendale, who received the MAG Livable Community Award for their 67th Avenue Bike Lane project. This is a project that was first funded through MAG's Design Assistance Program, which is a program to jumpstart work on active transportation projects. That project then came through and was awarded $5.5 million of regional funding. And then the second member agency award was the Blue Sky Award to the City of Phoenix for their drone fireworks display. So congratulations to Valley Metro for a good event that they put on, and congratulations to the member agencies who won awards. Next slide, please. A few weeks back, Mayors Gallego and Woods were recently in Tennessee representing their interests at the Accelerator for America Council meeting. So much of this conversation really focused on collaboration, resilience, strong local leadership in the face of all the uncertainty that we're facing, whether that's changes in various policies, economic uncertainty, and then certainly new technologies. So thank you to Mayor Gallego and Mayor Woods for their representation at that meeting. Next slide. Next up, really pleased to announce that MAG was recognized last Friday at a luncheon for our work on the Diamond Grind pilot program. So this is a long lead effort. Some of you might have remembered the initial conversations that we had back in 2019, 2020 for this work. Really this program is a great representation of the collaboration between MAG as the MPO and ADOT as the DOT. So the partnership really has focused on a number of factors, and we've seen Diamond Grind favored in nearly all categories. Next slide. And then lastly, November is Native American Heritage Month. So on behalf of MAG, really want to thank our collaboration, our partnerships with our 3 Native Nation members, which include the Fort McDowell Yavapai Nation, Gila River Indian Community, and the Salt River Pima Maricopa Indian Community. So these sovereign nations and their cultures really contribute to what makes the MAG region unique, and we're really thankful and rewarded by their participation in MAG. And then last, Mr. Chair, building on some comments that you had earlier, we want to thank you for your service to the region. Thank you for leading this committee thus far. And certainly look forward to you putting on a different hat and rejoining us in January with the City of Glendale. And that completes my report.
Thank you, John. Do any members have any questions for John on this report? Hey, John, for the record, did I have the shortest tenure of any chairman in MAG history?
Mr. Chair, it's certainly up there. We'll have to go back. We'll have to go back through the record books.
Thank you, John. All right, item number 11, do we have a legislative update?
Mr. Chair, no legislative update today.
Thank you. Moving on to item number 12, request for future agenda items. Seeing none, any general comments from the committee today? Okay, with that, we are adjourned. Thank you.